Imagine a 35-year-old man sitting alone in his car after a 12-hour workday, dreading the thought of going inside his own home. His marriage is cold, his children distant, and every conversation with his wife turns into an argument. Despite working tirelessly to provide for his family, he feels like a stranger in his own house. This isn't a rare scenario, it's increasingly becoming the norm. Modern marriage, once a promise of partnership and fulfillment, has evolved into an arrangement that many men find emotionally, financially, and psychologically devastating. Marriage, today, from partnership to imbalance. Traditionally, marriage was a division of labor. Men provided security and resources, while women offered emotional support and domestic care. In modern marriages, however, men are expected to uphold their traditional roles as providers while also taking on household responsibilities. Meanwhile, many women are no longer expected to reciprocate with domestic contributions or emotional intimacy. This imbalance leaves men exhausted, unappreciated, and stripped of their role and identity within the family. The disrespect men endure. Respect is a fundamental psychological need for men. It's not about ego, it's about feeling valued. When men are consistently belittled or ignored by their spouses, it has deep psychological consequences. In today's marriages, men often find their opinions dismissed and their authority undermined. This disrespect manifests in subtle and overt ways, from eye rolls to outright rejection of their input, leaving them feeling powerless and diminished. This cultural shift is evident in the media, where husbands are commonly portrayed as inept buffoons in contrast to their wise, capable wives. These portrayals reinforce the idea that men are unfit to lead or make decisions in their own homes, fostering a cultural narrative that disempowers husbands and erodes mutual respect. The erosion of male authority. Modern culture has deliberately worked to eliminate male authority in the household, a trend dubbed the Authority Elimination Project. When men are held responsible for their family's well-being but are denied decision-making power, it creates a psychological paradox. They're tasked with leadership, but denied the tools to lead, resulting in deep frustration and helplessness. This disrespect and loss of control lead to three common male responses: fight, which results in being labeled as controlling; flight, which earns them the title of deadbeat dads; or freeze, where they shut down emotionally. None of these responses are constructive, but they reflect the impossible position many men find themselves in. Financial and legal risks. Marriage today carries extreme financial risks for men. In divorce, men often lose half their assets, pay alimony, and provide child support, even when they share custody. Courts overwhelmingly favor mothers in custody battles, leaving fathers with limited access to their children despite financial obligations. Many divorced men end up in financial ruin, living in cramped apartments while funding their ex-wife's lifestyle. This financial devastation makes marriage a poor investment. Unlike other financial decisions, where risk is weighed against return, modern marriage offers dwindling benefits and massive potential costs. The math simply doesn't add up for men. The crisis of intimacy and desire. Sexual dissatisfaction is another growing issue in marriages. Up to 40% of marriages are considered sexless. This isn't merely about physical gratification. Sexual intimacy is closely tied to feeling wanted, appreciated, and emotionally connected. When men are denied affection but cannot seek it elsewhere, they are left in a state of emotional starvation. Worse, attempts to address the issue often fail because the structure of modern marriage removes women's incentive to maintain desire or effort. Cultural programming against masculinity. From a young age, boys are taught that traditional masculinity is toxic. They're encouraged to suppress their instincts for leadership and strength, while any expression of their emotional needs is labeled weak or misogynistic. The result is a generation of men who accept disrespect as normal and feel guilty for wanting to be treated well in their own homes. This cultural indoctrination doesn't stop at school or media. Legal systems are heavily biased against men, especially in family law. Men are consistently painted as aggressors, and societal narratives often ridicule male suffering. A mental health crisis in the making. Chronic disrespect and emasculation contribute to a mental health crisis among men. Depression, anxiety, addiction, and even suicide are on the rise, particularly among married or divorced men. These issues are rarely acknowledged because male emotional suffering is often dismissed or minimized. The lack of respect, coupled with cultural and legal structures stacked against men, creates a toxic environment that many cannot escape. Even the few simple acts of appreciation that could restore balance, such as asking for input, expressing gratitude, or showing physical affection, are deemed antiquated or submissive by modern standards. The alternative: choosing freedom over marriage. Given the psychological, emotional, and financial risks, many successful men are opting out of marriage altogether. These men aren't afraid of commitment. They're simply rejecting a system that no longer serves them. Remaining single gives men freedom, autonomy, financial security, and peace of mind. Many of these men still pursue relationships, but on their own terms, without legal contracts that could destroy their lives at a partner's whim. They enjoy companionship and intimacy without sacrificing their freedom or well-being. Conclusion: modern marriage has been reshaped into a contract that disproportionately benefits women while placing immense burdens on men. The institution no longer offers the stability, intimacy, or respect it once promised. Instead, it subjects men to a life of obligation without reward, responsibility without authority, and commitment without reciprocation. For men today, marriage has become one of the riskiest life choices. The men who recognize this and choose a different path aren't avoiding responsibility. They're preserving their sanity, freedom, and future. In a society that no longer honors the traditional marital contract, opting out might just be the smartest decision a man can make.